Alright, boys and girls, so today we're going to hear a story about not being selfish, okay? So first, there was a king. And this king loved his kingdom very much. He loved it so much, he did so much for them that they became lazy and they didn't do things for themselves. And so one day he decided that he was going to test them to see who would help each other. So he rolled a big stone right into the middle of the road. But as a reward for whoever moved the stone, he hid a bag of gold under the stone. But he didn't tell anyone. So there's a big stone in the road with a bag of gold under it that no one can see. And then the king hid behind a tree and he watched to see what would happen.
He's invisible.
He is, yeah. Pretty much. If there was more green there, he'd be completely invisible. So, first, there was a lady walking down the road, and she said, "Ew! There's a big stone in the road! That is really inconvenient." And it had just rained, too. So there was a mud puddle right there, and she had to walk around the stone and get muddy, and she walked around it, and she complained about the mud, and she was very upset. Later that day, the mud had dried up. 2 students were walking by, and they saw the stone, and they said, "Who put that stone in the road?" And they kicked it, and then they said, "Ow! That's ridiculous! Who put that stone in the road? Someone should move that stone!" And they kept walking. They walked around the stone.
Into the tree.
Not into the tree. Then another man came walking in the other direction. He was going out for business. And he saw the stone, and he said, "Who put that giant stone in the road? That's ridiculous. That shouldn't be there. It's in the way." And he walked around the stone and didn't move the stone. The king was sad. He saw all those people walk by and no one moved the stone. And he said, all my people in my kingdom, they're too lazy to move the stone. They only think about themselves. They say, "Look how inconvenient that stone is," and then they walk around it. He was sad because it was getting late. But then later that night, a little girl came walking by and she said, "Oh, who put that stone there?" And the king thought, "Oh, great, another one." But she said, "Somebody could fall and trip because it's getting late." So she thought, "Should I move it?" And she thought, "Well, if I move it, I'm just little. I might not be able to move it." And she thought, "Well, maybe if I tried really hard." She thought, "Well, it might take a lot of time. I have to get home. It's almost bedtime." And she thought back and forth. And she thought, "I'm gonna move it." And then the other people, they came. They said, "Don't bother moving that stone. The king will take care of it. Yeah, don't bother moving that stone." And she said, "Nope, I'm gonna do it." So the little girl pushed, and she pushed, and she pushed the stone until it rolled out of the road. And what did she find?
The gold.
Yes, she found the gold. And of course everyone was like, "What? You found a bag of gold!" And the king was like, "Yay!" He was so happy. He was so happy that someone in the kingdom found the bag of gold and was unselfish enough, or was selfless enough to move the stone out of the road, not just to help herself, but to help the other people in the kingdom, because she knew that someone else could get hurt by walking into the stone. And so she had enough money to help herself and her parents and her friends and all sorts of stuff. And that was the happy ending. The end.
And the king was so happy that the tree fell over.
Yep. He was just so happy that tree knocked right over.
He was so loud that it was so scared it fell over.
Yes. I mean, it was a pretty strong tree. Look how thick that trunk is.
And she killed the king.
Mm-hmm.
Because the king told her.
Feel better now?
Then he pushed the tree down.
He loves his nature so much though that he placed it right back up.
And then into the hole and then it falls down into the moles. Hey.
Yeah. Alright, that's it.